Alan always thought that Harmon hated him for some reason, but now this uptight holy knight is saying that he will assist him. Maybe Harmon is trying to pick the side of Alan for the Battle of the Crown, but Harmon has no idea that he is taking the wrong side since Alan don't want to get involved into the power struggle. Alan still can't trust his words, so he asks him if he is trying to get close to him so he can keep an eye on him, but Harmon says that he is sincere. Harmon was about to tell him the reason for his sudden allegiance, but Alan spots something and he stops Harmon from talking and he orders him to do the task at hand. The moon becomes red, and Alan informs Harmon that it's the time for the main invasion of the Undead Legion. The undead will not waste such a precious time with abundant mana like this. Alan wishes Merry Christmas to Harmon as the red light of the red moon shines throughout the Lonia estate. This day is not just the beginning of the Christmas because the undead are coming to wish the humans a happy Halloween as a bonus. Harmon has no idea about this Christmas and Halloween stuff, so he gets a bit confused. Vampire Count appears once again on the battlefield, and he tells his minions that their time has come. They are going to evolve after eating the living humans, and the Vampire Count will make sure that they all become kings as well. The Vampire Count gathers up a lot of evil miasma in his mouth. He then unleashes a miasma beam which pierces through the rubble in front of them, and it enhances the undead. The humans become a bit disoriented after watching it, and Duke Gennard tries to make them stay in line. Some soldiers are demoralized, and they say that maybe they can't fight the undead. Some of them were previously hit by the prince, and their face is hurting a lot, and they are wondering whether the decision of the Prince Alan was right. It turns out that the power of the undead monsters this time is incomparable to the previous years, and it is demoralizing the soldiers. He is thinking that maybe he should withdraw the soldiers instead of organizing them. All of a sudden he looks back to find out that the priest who previously saved them is here. Duke Gennard becomes a bit assured after finding out that the priest is here and maybe he can save them. Alan summons the holy water while praying to the goddess Gaia, and he activates both debilitating and epidemic skills which cover the whole human army as well as the undead zombies. After receiving the blessing, everyone starts brimming with hope. Duke Gennard tells his men to man up because the goddess is with them. With that being said, both armies rush toward each other. At the start of the battle, the human soldiers are easily cutting through the initial waves of the undead like thin paper due to the blessings they receive from Alan. Harmon jumps up toward a platoon of undead and he prays to the god of war for strength. This in turn activates one of his skills and he crushes the undead with ease. While massacring the undead, Harmon is thinking that Prince Alan used the best chance to raise the fighting spirit of the soldiers. Harmon cannot miss this opportunity as his goal is in front of him. He needs to get rid of the Vampire Count so the Undead Legion can become disorganized. It turns out the balls of the Vampire Count, which were previously hit by Alan, have not recovered yet, and the Count is quite pissed about it. Harmon rushes toward the Vampire Count, but the Vampire Count is brimming with hate, and he gets up to get rid of the priest. Harmon envelops himself in holy power before striking the Vampire Count. But the Vampire Count easily dodges his attack and he leaps toward the Lonia estate. Vampire Count kills of some of his own minions, which surprises everybody. Vampire Count activates both the skull and the vampire heart items at the same time while Harmon tells everyone to stop the Vampire Count since he is going for the priest. After activating the items, the Vampire Count goes through a bizarre transformation. Vampire Count becomes one with the skull and the dark heart, which enhances his power by leaps and bounds. Vampire Count easily crushes the soldiers blocking his path, and they now look like maggots in front of this enormous evil Count. At the same time, Alan is running away while drinking holy water to replenish his mana, and he somehow already knew that the Vampire Count would come after him. Alan can see the flow of mana while the Vampire Count can also see his holy powers, and it's a matter of time before the Vampire Count finds him. Alan is going to lure him into this dense wall of the Lonia estate. Alan looks back to find out that something is approaching him at a fast speed. It turns out someone threw a huge chunk of rock toward Alan. Alan barely misses the rock by jumping to the side. It turns out that the Vampire Count was the one who threw the rock, and he appears in front of Alan. Vampire Count is releasing a lot of evil aura, and he tells the priest to get ready to die. Vampire Count prepares another miasma beam in his mouth. Alan knew that something bizarre was about to occur, so he tells someone to activate the plan, which involves Charlotte. It turns out Charlotte was already prepared for this, and she comes out with a huge chunk of rock as well. The vampire count uses the miasma beam while Charlotte throws the rock toward him. Their clash ends up in a huge explosion which blasts away everything in its path.